I'm growing sweet potatoes again this year, but this year I'm not going to be growing them in bags. I'm going to be growing them in these totes right here. And before I get to that, I need to prepare them. So I'm going to drill some holes. I'm going to make a hugelkultur in the bottom, put the reclaimed soil that you saw me reclaim yesterday, and get these ready for planting. So come along. I collected some wood last spring. Let's get this loaded in the buckets. Now that I have some of the sticks cut up, I'm going to place them in the bottom of the tub. Now I'm not going to put a whole bunch of sticks because I have a few tubs that I need to make a small hugelkultur bed in. So I'm going to move on to the next tub. Once I get all of these 3 tubs filled up with sticks, I'm going to move on to the leaves. Now I have all of my buckets filled with sticks. Now I'm going to put my leaves in. I did not use all of my wood because that wood is going to be used for another purpose later on in the season. For leaves. All I did was scoop some leaves up from up under the car because for some strange reason, leaves are continuing to come into the driveway. I don't have a lot of leaves, so now I'm going to go and get the reclaimed soil that I took out of the pots yesterday. I have some homegrown compost that I found a bag of. I pulled this compost out of the compost bin. I think it was sometime early last spring. And I just came across the bag in the shed. I've been saving my bags and collecting compost in them as well as reclaimed soil. I hope you guys can hear me. It is very windy today, so I hope the wind isn't a problem. So I'm just going to take my bucket and put some compost in it. I don't have a lot of leaves or sticks or twigs. I'm just using what I have. Now I'm going to do this for all 3 tubs. I feel like you can see inside of the turquoise tub a whole lot better than the black tub. So I'm switched to the turquoise tub, and all 3 of the tubs will be done in the same manner. So this is reclaimed, or this is compost that I pulled out of the compost bin last year sometime. That's in the bottom. What I'm going to put in here now, right up into this mark here, kind of like the halfway point, is I'm going to put the refreshed soil that I pulled out of the pots in my last video. Now I'm not going to have you sit here and watch me do this real time, so let me speed it up. Now that I have it filled up to right about the halfway mark, I'm going to fill it up to about 1 inch to 2 inches below the lip of the pot with store-bought fresh soil. That way the roots can go deep into the soil and feed all the way in the bottom, because that's where the food is. These are the food layers down here. So let me go get that new soil and I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm going to add the soil mix, potting mix inside of this container. Now you can use whatever kind of potting mix you want. Doesn't matter how much it is, as far as price, count, what's in it, name brand, whatever you like, you can use it. I'm using a raised bed and potting mix soil that's organic. That's just me. So again, I'm going to put that in this pot, and I might be able to tip it out. I'm trying to save my back. I never want to do something something that could possibly injure my back. So I'm not going to pick it up and tip it out. I'm just going to leave it on and do like I did with the reclaimed soil. And I'm going to go with my scooper. Love this scooper, by the way. And I'm going to scoop it out and fill it up. So instead of you guys watching me real time, I'm going to speed this up. You guys see that theme there? I'm going to speed up. I'm going to speed this up and I'll be right back. Okay, as you guys saw, I got tired of the scoop and I thought I would see if I could pick it up. I could. Didn't hurt myself, so I picked it up and dumped it in here. Now what I have come to realize is this soil seems a little bit denser than I would like, and potatoes don't want to grow in compacted soil. This has a significant amount of wood chip in it, so I'm going to put some perlite in this and try to break that up. Hopefully it will work and the potatoes will grow nicely. Now perlite, just like many other items in the garden, can be dusty. So if you're going to use it, please be careful. You don't want to inhale any of that dust. I'm sure you guys can see that, how the dust is flying. So I'm just going to give this a toss. I'm trying some new soil. I've used it a couple times in the past and I'm not quite sure how I feel about it just yet. We'll see after this growing season if it's something that I will use again. I'm going to put a tiny bit more perlite in it. I'm glad the dust is blowing in an opposite direction and not blowing up my nose. All right, and now I'm going to place this in the garden next to the other two, and I'll give you a sneak peek of how I'm setting up part of the garden. So this one is done. Let's go to the others. All right, I have placed the buckets outside, as you can see, and I have them filled with soil. Now I'm going to cover this soil up because I'm not ready to plant in it yet and I don't want it exposed to the sun. I placed the cardboard box on top. I placed some pots on top of those that I have some transplanted stuff in. I don't believe any of these things are going to come back. On the far left and far right, I have Shasta daisies that I transplanted, and in the center I have a canna. I don't believe any of these are going to come back. However, the pots are relatively heavy, and it's heavy enough to keep the cardboard down and keep it from flying away in the wind. So these pots are ready for planting in my sweet potato slips when they are ready to come out in the next week and a half.